Hello, 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 good evening, and welcome everybody. Welcome to another week of Soul Service with me, Renee. It is so lovely to have you all join me today. I see there's a few of you already in. Hello and welcome. I hope you're all having an amazing weekend. For us here in South Africa, it is a long weekend, which means tomorrow is a no work day for most people, which is fabulous. Which is fabulous. So I do hope that you all are relaxing and having fun and doing all the things that we haven't had a chance to do for the last couple of days. So welcome to Soul Service. So we're doing things a little bit differently today. Hi Sasha. We're doing things a little bit differently today. So instead of the standard order of service where we open up with a prayer and we do the healing and we go into the astrology, I have too much to say. And there's something specific I want to take us all through, and I'm just worried about time. So I'm sort of like eliminating a lot of the things and heading straight into the meat and the juice and the exciting bits. So hello Earth Star, welcome. Nice to have you join us. So I'm going to, as I say, forego a lot of the normal formalities and get straight into what I think is important and relevant and significant. So that being said, let me actually just push all the right buttons here that I need to push. So that being said, we're going to jump straight into the astrology for this week, which is also our reflection for this week. The astrology and the reflection are all in one. So basically, let me just again find all the buttons that I need to push. So basically what we have this week is today, actually 27th of April 2025, we have a new moon in Taurus. Now I'm going to explain to you what that means. I'm going to explain to you, the relevance of it, the significance of it. I'm going to give you your horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac because this is so important. And then I want to take us into setting intentions. But I don't want to just say, all right, now come up with an intention and there you go. I actually want to take you through the whole process of how do you set an intention that actually will manifest. Notice I didn't say what can manifest. I said what will manifest. Because a lot of us do go about this whole thing of setting intentions on a regular basis. But how often do they actually develop and manifest and come to life and work out? Not very often. Why? Because our process of setting the intentions it doesn't always dot the I's and cross all the T's. And what led me to this whole thing about intention setting is the new moon in Taurus. So I'm going to talk about the new moon in Taurus. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight as to what it means, why it's important, why it's relevant, and explain then how the new moon in Taurus sets us up for intention setting. Then I'm going to take you into this whole process of setting intention. So I'm going to say to you now at the beginning of the session, make sure you've got pen and paper ready. Okay, and not just a little strip of paper. Like get yourself a piece of paper, right, where you can make some notes and do things like that, because we've got a lot to cover tonight. We've got a lot to cover tonight. All right. So as I said to you, today, the 27th of April, which is a Sunday, 27th of April 2025, we have a new moon in Taurus that is taking place. This particular new moon in Taurus is considered to be a supermoon. Okay, what does it mean if a moon is a supermoon as opposed to just an ordinary moon? It means that it looks like it's closer to Earth. Okay, so if it looks like it's closer to Earth, it means it looks bigger. Now, unfortunately, being a new moon means we don't really see it because when we have a new moon, it's in a shadow. So therefore, we don't really see the moon. So if you went outside right now and went looking for the moon, you probably wouldn't find it. But it would, if you did find it, it would look like it is much closer to Earth than usual. All right. So a supermoon is when the moon is at or as near its closest approach to Earth in its orbit around the Earth. This proximity to the Earth makes the moon appear much larger and also much brighter from Earth, even though this is obviously much more noticeable during a full moon, because obviously if the moon is full and it's got the sun shining on it, we'd be able to see how close it is. But with the new moon, with it being in the shadow, we're not going to see it as clearly. So generally speaking though, okay, so it's a supermoon only because it is close to the Earth. That is the only thing there. The other thing that we want to say, typically with the new moon, now we have a new moon every 28, 29 days, we have a new moon. And typically most people practice intention setting around a new moon. So what makes, again, the Taurus one any different or any more special? Well, it's because Taurus is, well, who Taurus is, really, that makes setting intentions during this particular new moon really, really important and really, really significant. So basically, going back to I just want to cover supermoon before I get into Taurus. So going back to the supermoon status of this particular new moon. So again, we can't really see it because it is in the shadow of the sun. So we're not really going to see it illuminated, but its effects don't dissipate. Just because we can't see it doesn't mean the effects of the supermoon doesn't go away. So again, supermoon means that it is closer to Earth, but it also means, because the moon has a direct impact on our tides, it means that there's going to be enhanced tidal forces that we're going to deal with yesterday, today, tomorrow, a day or two on either side of the supermoon. So this means we have higher high tides and lower low tides during this supermoon. Astrologically, though, supermoons are also believed to amplify the moon's influence in our lives, intensifying themes that are associated with the zodiac placement. And again, in this particular case, that happens to be Taurus. So we're amplifying Taurus in the supermoon, again, which is why setting intentions on the supermoon is just so powerful. So since Taurus governs things like stability, material resources, sensuality, this particular supermoon may make these areas in your life feel more pronounced or feel more significant. Okay, so a new moon, as we know, marks the start of a new lunar cycle. It occurs approximately every, as I said, 28, 29 days thereabout. And a new moon basically represents, think of it as a blank slate. Think of it as a blank piece of paper, which is a great time for us to put things on that paper, to decide what it is we want to do, what it is we want to manifest, what it is we want to attract in our lives over the next period. So this is why setting intentions, starting projects, initiating change in yourself, in your life, are really, really big on the agenda for this particular new moon. So think of this basically as a moment in which you can plant seeds. And when we talk about planting seeds, we mean both literally and figuratively, metaphorically, figuratively. And when we plant seeds, we're planting seeds not to harvest anything now, but to harvest something at a later stage. Okay. And because we have the absence of the moonlight under a new moon, this basically encourages us to be more introspective. It encourages us to focus more on ourselves. It focuses on inner growth as opposed to external circumstances. And the phase of this particular moon is also all about envisioning and planning rather than outward action. So every single new moon falls into a particular zodiac sign, as you know. And as I have said a few times, that this particular one is in Taurus for us today, which basically emphasizes the themes, Taurus themes of stability, self-worth, material abundance, as well as the connection to nature. Now, I do at this point, connection with nature, have to bring in, there are some horrific fires taking place Cape Town way at the moment. So those of us in South Africa, please just say a prayer for all of those people who've lost homes, houses have already burned down, the wildlife that has been injured, and all the rest of it. There are some horrific fires that are taking place at the moment, right now as we speak. So please do just say a prayer to everybody living down that way, and may they all be safe, and may the fire get extinguished really, really quickly, because it's quite worrying. So back to our new moon in Taurus, our super moon in Taurus. So people often perform manifestation rituals during new moons, and it's also seen as a time to reconnect with our inner selves and to align with actions and long-term aspirations. So as I said to you, this is where I came up with this whole thing of, well, maybe during this particular new moon, super moon in Taurus, it would be such a good time not only for us to set intentions, but to actually learn how to set intentions properly so that we can actually manifest and do and achieve and aspire to the things that we are setting. Because it's very easy to say, I want to be rich. I set the intention to be rich, but it needs more than that. And if you don't do more than that, it's never going to work. And then you go, oh, well, this whole stuff is a bunch of hobble-de-doo. Meantime, if you're not doing things properly, how are you ever going to achieve the outcomes that you deserve, that you want, that you need, and that you desire? So this particular new moon in Taurus offers us a grounded, steady, and nurturing energy that is absolutely perfect for manifestation. I mean, I can't make this stuff up, right? Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus. Venus is the planet of love. Venus is the planet of beauty, and Venus is also the planet of abundance. Okay, so its influence encourages us to focus on building stability, on building comfort, and building long-term success in our lives. So it really is just, and the fact that it's a supermoon, it's amplified. The fact that it's a new moon, and then the fact that it's Taurus. I mean, it's just tick, 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 all the boxes, all the way down. So it really is important that we understand that and that we utilize this to our advantage. Okay, so when it comes to setting intentions, there's a couple of things I want to take you through. Now, I'm going to sort of give you a rough kind of breakdown on how to go about setting intentions. And then I'm going to take you through the exercise of actually doing it. Okay, so don't stress too much now about trying to write it all down or understand it all or whatever. Just follow along with me as best as you can. And then, like I say, then because I'm still talking about setting intentions under the Taurus new moon, and then I'm going to go to actually doing an intention setting exercise, which you can do anytime, not just at a Taurus new moon. You could do it once a month, or once a week, whatever your needs are. So basically, the first thing that we do when it comes to setting intentions is to make sure that the intentions that we are setting are practical. I mean, like, I shouldn't have to say that, but I do, because I often, in talking to people about their intentions, and again, the intention, the standard one is, I'm going to be rich. That's great to set that intention, but is it practical? And the second point, is it realistic? So we have to be realistic. Like, if you set an intention that you want to be a multimillionaire within a week, how practical and how realistic is that? I'm not saying don't ever set those kind of intentions for yourself, but be realistic and practical as to the time frames and how you're going to go about doing it. So I also want to say to you, when it comes to setting practical and realistic expectations for yourself or intentions for yourself, it is important to reflect on what truly matters to you. What are your core values? What are your core priorities? Then you need to write down the intentions that are achievable and that do align with your personal growth, with your current finances, with your current relationship situation, and your current well-being. Okay? So for example, instead of saying something like, I want to be wealthy, rather try saying something like, I will create a budget and I will save X amount of money each month until I have achieved my goal. So it's about, again, practicality, and it is about realistic expectations. And if you don't do that, your intention is, you can have all the intentions, but they will never manifest, they will never develop. So the other thing that's important when setting intentions is, especially in this particular new moon, right, is engaging in your senses. So Taurus loves the tangible. Taurus loves sensual, sensory kind of things. Taurus is mad about those kind of things. So if you're going to be setting an intention tonight, make sure that you use candles, bring in the essential oils. Essential oils that you can use would be like patchouli, lavender, those kind of ones. You can play some soothing music, and you can do like just a whole kind of calm kind of scenario. Taurus new moon will go mad for that. It'll really help to amplify the energy. You can also incorporate earthy elements like crystals, and the kind of crystals I would recommend during a Taurus new moon for manifestation would be crystals like green aventurine. Some pyrite will be good as well. Fool's gold, as it's called, pyrite. Even some jade would be amazing if you have. And if you can spend time outdoors connecting with nature, that will also help to just amplify your intention and to make sure that it is working in your favor. Taurus energy also thrives on patience and persistence. So if you think about a Taurian, somebody in your life who is a Taurus, they can be patient and they can persevere. When they've set their sights on something, nothing stops them until they get that, until they achieve that. So we want to use those energies to help us manifest and to use this new moon energy wisely. So Taurus energy thrives on patience, it thrives on persistence. So the best thing for you to do to take advantage of that is to break your intentions down or break your goals down into smaller, manageable bite sizes, and then commit to making that steady progress. Again, I want to be rich. If that's the intention, I will be rich. How do you get there? What are you going to do? Like, what are the steps that you need to take? Just having that as an end goal, setting yourself up for failure. But if you break it down into more manageable pieces, practical, realistic, manageable pieces, then it makes it easier for you to work towards that. This Taurus new moon as well. It's important that we avoid rushing or overloading ourselves because Taurus doesn't like that. So instead, plant the seeds, again, literally and or figuratively, that you can nurture over time. So don't think that the intentions you set tonight are only for the next week. If you want to set an intention for a year's time, absolutely fabulous. Taurus energy loves that stuff. Absolutely loves that stuff. All right. So the next thing we need to do when it comes to manifesting under a new moon in Taurus is to ground your intentions through action. Okay. So combine your intention setting with, again, practical steps. Taurus reminds us that manifestation requires effort and dedication. Okay, effort and dedication. So for example, if you're wanting to manifest improved health for yourself, you can't just say, I want to be healthy or I want to be healthier. You actually need to do something about that, okay? But would be a good time to start a new fitness routine. This would be a good time to incorporate healthier meals into your diet. This would be a good time to put new habits into play, okay? That is what is important during this time. But if there is no action, you're never going to manifest your intention. And then something that I say fairly often on my channel here is about tapping into gratitude and tapping into abundance. So it's important that we take a moment to appreciate the abundance that we already have. So even if your circumstances are dire, even if financially you are, at the lowest point of your life, you still have abundance. You do. You may have abundance of friends. You may have abundance of animals. You may have an abundance of crystals. You may have an abundance of something. Okay. So it's really just about, don't always assume that abundance equals money and money equals abundance. Abundance comes in many, many, many different forms. So take a moment to appreciate the abundance that you already have, because again, gratitude and having a heart and a mindset of gratitude aligns you with the mindset of receiving more. And that's what we want, isn't it? So it's important that you create a gratitude list. It's important that you create affirmations that will also reinforce your feelings of stability, love, and success, especially under this particular Taurus new moon that we are experiencing at the moment. Okay. So again, with this particular new moon as well. So as I have mentioned, Taurus rules finances. Taurus rules our self-worth, beauty, as well as material comfort. Okay, so manifestation efforts in these areas are really particularly supported during this supermoon. So if you are in a financial trouble at the moment, this would be an amazing time to set intentions to change your financial situation going forward. But remember, practical, realistic, actionable. Okay, important. So an example intention, okay, an example intention that you could use under this supermoon, new supermoon in Taurus would be something like, I will attract financial stability and opportunities for growth. Another one, I am building a home environment that reflects comfort and love. So those are just two examples that I could give you. So once you've decided on your intention, once you've written it down and you've got your little statement, one thing we have to understand, especially again with this particular new moon in Taurus, is that Taurus's energy is slow. There's no speeding up a Taurus, right? Taurus go at the speed that Taurus go at. That's just how it is. If they start off fast, if they decide to be fast, it will be. But if Taurus wants to be slow and steady and methodical, they're going to be slow and steady and methodical. And that's just how it is. So Taurus energy can be slow, but it is always steady, always steady. So you need to trust, and this is again another reason why a lot of people's intentions don't manifest, is because the trust issue comes into play. So it is important that we trust that the seeds that we are planting, the seeds that we are planting during this new moon, that they will grow in their own time. So it's about putting that intention, setting that intention, putting it out there to universe, and then having the patience to trust and to wait for it to manifest and for it to develop. It is so important that you avoid getting discouraged if the results are not instant and immediate. You know, as human beings living in 2025, we are so impatient. You know, we send a WhatsApp, we send an email, we expect immediate reaction, immediate replies, immediate resolutions, immediate whatever. So this is why, again, intentions. We put out an intention and we expect it to come back to us instantly. We expect it to manifest instantly, and it's not going to, especially in this particular new moon under Taurus. Okay, so we must not get discouraged if our results are not immediate. What is important is that you focus on the process and enjoy the journey rather than just the outcome. So, friends, by embracing the new moon in Taurus's grounding energy, you can manifest with a sense of calm, with a sense of stability, and with assurance, laying a solid foundation for your dreams to flourish. All right. So what I want to do now is I want to take you through your horoscopes using this new moon in Taurus energy and using Venus, who is the ruler of Taurus. So to do the horoscopes, I have looked at the new moon in Taurus and I have looked at Venus's placements, and I have put together this horoscope for you. So do enjoy this horoscope, and I will see you in a couple of seconds because I've put a little slideshow together. So I'll let the slideshow play, and then have your pen and paper ready for us to start setting intentions for the month of May 2025. Right, we are back. Good. So you've all had a couple of minutes to go out and get yourself pen and paper, and let's get ready to set some intentions. Now, before we get started with this, I just want to say the intentions that we're setting now, for the sake of this example, I want us to use the month of May as the time frame for setting our intentions. So I don't want you to set an intention of I want to own a 10-bedroom house and drive a car and da da da. Like let's keep it realistic, let's keep it practical. So I'm going to take you through the process of, like, we know we want to set an intention and we want to set an intention for the month of May. So I'm going to take you through the process of how to choose and how to develop and how to write your intention for developing and manifesting something within a limited time frame. All right. So, are you ready to set intentions? Have your pen and paper ready. But before we get started writing anything, I want you to just sit comfortably for a second. I want you to sit with your feet flat on the ground. Don't cross your legs or anything like that. Just sit comfortably. And I want us to just ground ourselves, and I want us to just connect for a very, very brief second, just to clear the clutter, just to clear the noise, and just to bring ourselves into a state of calm before we start setting intentions. Because again, if you're setting intentions in a manic state, your intention is going to be manic. The energy you're putting into it's going to be manic. It's not going to manifest. So let's rather just bring ourselves into a state of calm, and let's just do a quick little grounding. So sit comfortably, feet flat on the ground, not crossed over in any way. And I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to take a deep breath in. I want you to fill your lungs as much as you can, hold it for a brief second, and then exhale it out. Take another deep breath in, fill your lungs as much as you can, and slowly exhale it out, releasing any tension. And then do that one more time for me. Breathe in, fill your lungs as much as you can, hold it for a brief second, and then exhale it out. Keeping your eyes closed and allow your breathing to return to a natural rhythm. I now want you to visualize roots extending from the base of your feet, going into the earth. See these roots growing from your feet into the earth, going down, 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 down. I want you to see these roots going as far down as you can possibly visualize and imagine and perceive them to go, deep, deep, deep into the core of the earth, anchoring you in steady, grounding energy of earth. And then I want you to feel the calm, stable energy of Taurus, because we've got a new moon in Taurus. Feel that calm, stable energy of Taurus coming up through your roots from the core of the earth, flowing up through these roots and filling your entire being, anchoring you and grounding you, making you feel present, stable, secure, and strong. Okay. So we're going to keep those roots. We're going to allow those roots to hold us still as we start thinking about our intentions. So the first question I have to ask is, obviously, when it comes to setting intentions, we have to have an idea of what area of life where you want more stability or growth. Because we're doing the new moon in Taurus, everything that I'm giving you now is going to be very Taurus related, okay? I'm going to talk about what happens if it's not a new moon in Taurus a little bit later. But for now, we're going to be looking at everything that I'm talking to you with regards to setting intentions are going to be very Taurus themes, okay? Very much Taurus themes. So what is one area of your life where you seek more stability and where you seek more growth? I want you to think about like your values. I want you to think about your finances. I want you to think about your relationships, your health, and possibly even your personal fulfillment. Okay, what personally fulfills you? So I want you to start thinking about this and thinking about like what area of your life, and you can start making notes on your piece of paper at this stage. So we want to try and hone it down to a single area, to a single point that you want to work on in setting intentions for growth and stability. So what area in your life needs growth and stability right now that you want to focus on for the month of May? Remember, we're doing just a single month. Even though today's the 27th of April, May starts in a couple of days, but we're looking at what can we manifest within a single month. Remember, keep it practical, Keep it honest, keep it real. Don't create unrealistic expectations. But right now, I want you to think of an area of life where you seek more stability and growth. Okay. I'm going to give you, like, if you're struggling, if you're struggling with this, I'm going to give you one question that might help you to choose. Okay. So what would bring you a deeper sense of security and joy in the coming month? So what one thing would bring you a deeper sense of security and joy in the coming month? Write that answer down on your piece of paper. What one thing would bring you a deeper sense of security and joy in the coming month of May 2025? What one thing would bring you a deeper sense of security and joy in the coming month? Okay. Have you got a general area of life? Just a general area of life. Okay. So now what I want you to do is, on your piece of paper, you've written down that area of life that you want to focus on for the next month. Okay, so you've got it written down on your piece of paper. Now what we need to do is we need to craft a clear and grounded intention. So when we write an intention, our intention needs to start with the words I intend. Okay, I intend to, or I will. All right. We need to make sure that we are phrasing our intention in a very positive and in a very realistic way. You need to make sure that you're wording it as if it is already happening, not that it's going to happen. It needs to be present tense. It needs to be happening here and now. Okay, so keep it in the present tense, because this is the other trick. And another reason why a lot of people's intentions don't ever work, don't ever actually ever manifest, because our subconscious mind, the subconscious mind that we have no control over, our subconscious mind responds better to things that are happening in the here and the now. So when you set an intention and you bring it into the present tense, our subconscious mind, our higher self, whatever you want to call it, immediately starts contributing to that, because it's already taking place and it lives in the present moment. It doesn't live in the past and it doesn't live in the future. So if you put things into present tense, I intend to, I know that's a little bit future, but it's I intend to do it, I'm going to do it, and then I will. Okay, so start your intentions with those. The other thing that I want to say is be as specific as possible. Okay, be as specific as you possibly can, be as detailed as you can, because again, our subconscious, our conscious minds, if they have a clear path is so much easier to walk than a vague, obscure one. So we have an area of life that you've already determined. I now want you to put a sentence down. Okay, I'm going to carry on talking about how to create this intention and how to word it, but I want you to start writing things. Your intention, we'll get the wording right in a second, but I want you to start being as detailed and as clear and as specific as possible around what it is that you want to achieve within the next month. I'm going to say to you as well, keep your intentions realistic and achievable, as we've already discussed, understanding as well that Taurus energy supports grounded practical action. So again, don't let it be too fantasy. Right? No, we want to be practical. Under this particular new moon tonight, we want to be practical. So overly ambitious intentions will actually leave you feeling more overwhelmed, and will also, unconsciously, subconsciously, that they're unattainable. So you're never going to achieve it. And we don't want to set a goal. We don't want to set intentions for something we know we're never going to achieve, because then what's the point? Okay, then what's the point? So while you're writing, okay, also make sure that your intention aligns with your values, your personal values, and the emotions of what you're dealing with right now. Intentions that are tied to your own core values and to your own desires are more motivating, and therefore there is a stronger chance of them coming to life. Okay, so if you're doing something that goes against the grain of who you are, you're not going to be motivated to do that. It's not going to be in a line with who you are, and therefore it's not going to manifest for you. So also make sure that your intention is singular. What I mean when I say that is, you don't want to say, I want a new house, I want a new car, I want a new relationship, I want new money. Like, it's too much. It's too much. Keep it on one thing. let's focus on one thing for the month of May that we're setting an intention for now, that we will manifest and that we will create for the month of May. So keep your intention singular and very specific and very focused. Okay, because again, if you're spreading your energy across too many goals, if you're trying to accomplish too much, you're diluting the power of your intentions, but you're also diluting your own energy. And if you're diluting your own energy, you're never going to succeed. You're never going to succeed. You're basically just setting yourself up for failure. And this is again why a lot of people's intentions don't actually work, don't actually manifest. So the other thing that you have to do, so you've written a whole bunch of stuff, okay? At least I hope you've done a whole bunch of stuff. So you've got an area of life, and now you've written a couple of things that you would like to manifest. We haven't actually created the intention yet. We haven't actually decided yet. We're still sort of playing with concepts and playing with ideas and playing with strategies. The next thing you need to do, and this is again quite an important step, is you need to write down why this particular intention actually matters to you. And to me, this is like the most important part of setting intentions in your life. You've got to write down why this particular intention matters, why it's important, why it's relevant. If you achieve this, what feelings will it bring to your life? If you achieve this, how is it going to benefit you? What are you going to feel? What is it going to do for you? You need to connect with your intention on an emotional level. Is it going to bring you joy? Is it going to bring you peace? Or is it going to bring you confidence? So you need to make sure that whatever you're writing, when you write your intention, you need to make sure that you are connecting to it emotionally. Because if there is no emotion with the intention that you're creating, it's not yours. Because if there is an emotion, that means that you care about it. That means that it affects you. That means that you want it. That means that there's an emotion. And if there's something, if it is yours, if it is something you want, if it's something that matters to you, you will work harder to achieve it. But if there's no emotion, you're not going to work at it. You're not going to work at it. I just want to have a sip of my water. So write down why this intention matters to you. And we don't do this once we've achieved the intention, once we've manifested it, once we've accomplished it. We write it now because it's a good way of measuring whether you can and whether you will do this intention. Okay, so at the moment, you've got an area and you've got a couple of things that you would like to manifest. And now you've written maybe a sentence, a word, a little something as to why this intention matters to you, why it is, what is it going to bring to your life? If you achieve this, when you achieve this, what is it bringing into your life? Peace, happiness, joy, confidence, whatever it might be. Okay. Then the next step is to write an actionable step. One. Okay. What one step will you take in the next 7 days that will take you towards this goal? So now we need to start honing, okay? Because we had a whole bunch of ideas. We had a whole bunch of things that we were contemplating. So now let's pick a thing. Let's connect to it emotionally, all right? So decide on the intention that you're setting for the month of May using this super new moon in Taurus, okay? This is something that we want to grow. This is something that we want to develop within ourselves. You're picking an intention. We haven't got the words quite figured out yet, but you're picking an intention. You've connected with it emotionally. And now you need to commit it to action. So in other words, you need to write down, if I'm going to achieve this, if I'm going to achieve this intention, what one step do I need to take within the next 7 days that will move me closer towards, in the direction of my intention? Okay, so write that down. And then I want you to sort of try and put it all into a single sentence. I want you to put your intention. Remember, we're keeping it positive. We're keeping it present tense. We're keeping it realistic. We're keeping it practical. It's something that you can do within the next month. And it's something that you are emotionally connected to. And you've written down the first step that needs to be taken in order to bring you closer to your intention. Okay. I'm going to give you a minute to do that. You can see you're all frantically writing. I'll drink water while you write. I've done mine. I've done mine. So obviously, again, I'm going to repeat, we're doing this under the new moon, the new super moon of Taurus, which is happening today, 27th of April. But you don't only set intentions on a new moon. You don't only set intentions under a Taurus new moon. You can set intentions anytime. Okay, so this recipe that I'm giving you can work anytime, as long as you stick to the basic rules. All right, are we ready? Everybody has an intention. Something practical, something honest, realistic, something that is doable. You've kept it in the present tense. You've got an area of life. You've got it. You've got an emotional connection to it. And you've got one actionable step that you can take towards it. So now the next thing is to actually write that affirmation down. But to make sure that, sorry, you got your intention. Now we need to write an affirmation for the intention. Yes, an affirmation for the intention. Okay, so what is an affirmation? An affirmation is basically a short sentence, short to the point sentence that aligns with your intention, that will, something that you can repeat, something that you can say to yourself over and over and over again, that will keep you on the road to that intention. So for an example, an affirmation that you could use, I am, not I will be, I am, present tense. I am worthy of abundance and stability. That is a beautiful one. If you want to, if your intention is to attract money, if your intention is to attract prosperity, then this affirmation is phenomenal. I am worthy of abundance and stability. And you need to repeat this to yourself over and over and over again, all through the month, not just now that we're setting the intention and never again, because then again, it's not going to work. It needs to be a continuous repetition. Gosh, I'm losing my words. So once you've got your affirmation, so you must all be writing your affirmation now. Remember, your affirmation has to align with your intention. So if your intention is for good health, you cannot say, I am worthy of abundance and stability, because then you're saying an abundance of good health, which is not bad, but it's not going to give you the good health that you're looking for. So you want to make sure that your affirmation is in line with the intention that you've decided and set for yourself. Once you've got your affirmation written down, basically what I want you to do is to close your eyes once more. Okay, I want you to close your eyes once more, and I want you to imagine your intention is already fulfilled. I want you to see your life with this intention fulfilled. I want you to see yourself living in alignment with your goal. I want you to notice the details. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear when you see yourself with this intention fulfilled? And I want you to hold on to that vision, and I want you to feel the emotions that it brings. And then you're going to take your piece of paper where you've got your intention written and you've got your affirmation on, and you're going to fold it and you're going to put it onto your heart, and you're going to hold it here by your heart. And you're going to visualize your intention being planted like a seed into fertile soil. And you're going to trust that this is going to grow, that it's going to be fabulous, that it's going to be amazing, and that it's going to be wonderful. And then while you're all holding your piece of paper on your heart, where you've got your affirmation and you've got your intention for the month of May, under this Taurus new moon that we are having tonight, we're all going to repeat, I trust in my ability to create the life I desire. I trust in my ability to create the life I desire. One more time. I trust in my ability to create the life I desire. Next sentence. My intentions are grounded, clear, and powerful under this new moon in Taurus. My intentions are grounded, clear, and powerful under this new moon in Taurus. Last time. My intentions are grounded, clear, and powerful under this new moon in Taurus. And then As always, we end in gratitude. So take a moment to thank yourself for showing up, to thank the new moon's energy for its support. Thank yourself for thinking of yourself, for being there for yourself, for setting the intentions for yourself, and for doing the work that is necessary. So now you need to keep your intention piece of paper somewhere special. You need to revisit it throughout the month a few times over. You need to take the consistent actions that are necessary in order to nurture the goal, okay? You can't now go and sit and watch TV with your feet up and just wait for it to magically happen. It doesn't work like that. You have to do the work, okay? And, just trust that the energy of Taurus is going to guide us all to stability, to abundance, and to absolute and utter fulfillment. All right, so we have got our new moons, our intentions all set. I want to just at this point take a second to say something to you. When I was putting this together this afternoon, I realized that, doing it on a live stream like this, where I sort of rush you through the points, it's okay, it's doable, but it's also a little bit discombobulating. So what I did is I created a PDF document, which basically holds your hand through this entire process in detail, okay? I cannot remember how many pages in my PDF document, but I think there was 9. I can't remember. I have put this PDF document up on my Psychic Academy website. So www.psychicacademy.co.za. Pop along there. I am charging for it only because I need you to invest in yourself. Okay, but what I've done is I've created this worksheet. I've removed new moon and Taurus from it. All right, so this is just a document about setting intentions, a worksheet, I should say, on setting intentions. I've kept the fee ridiculously minimal, but I've used it as a way for you to invest in yourself, because also if there's a little bit of a money spent, you're going to want to be more determined and more focused to achieve the goals that you are setting for yourself. And I promise you the document is very detailed. It gives you step by step by step. It gives you a lot more information than what I've covered here. And I definitely think it'll be helpful. I've set it up in a way that you can use it over and over and over again. So if you want to do this once a month for yourself going forward, you absolutely can. So pop over to www.psychicacademy.co.za and you will find the intention setting worksheet there. Go and add it to cart, get it for yourself and use it. Like I said, I have removed the new moon and Taurus from it. So it is just a generic intention setting worksheet that you can use to improve your circumstances, to improve your life. Okay, so with that said, we're now going to go into, because I see, look, we're already at 6:50. We're already 10 minutes to the hour. What I want to do now is I have created a new moon in Taurus tarot spread. Okay, a new moon in Taurus tarot spread. It's a detailed tarot spread because I apparently can't do a simple tarot spread. Apparently, I don't know how to do simple. I only know how to do complex. So I want to now take us through this new moon in Taurus tarot spread. So this particular tarot spread is not for an individual, it's for a collective. In other words, this is for you, me, and everybody else. What are we actually going through tonight? What are we actually dealing with tonight in this new moon in Taurus? So it's a quite, like I said, it is quite a big spread. It's certainly not a simple, easy spread. So I want to take us through this very quickly. Just again, if you're finding yourself struggling with something, if you're finding yourself battling just life in general at the moment, like why are you feeling that way and what can you do about it? So I'm hoping that this is what this new moon spread is going to help us to achieve. Okay, so there are 7 cards that I'm going to have to pull, so it is a big spread. So what I'm going to do is, you can see I'm shuffling the cards. I'm going to lay the cards onto the table, and I'm going to put all the 7 cards down just so that I don't have to deal with the deck again. And then I'm going to take you through the spread as much as I possibly can. So it's a new moon in Taurus. We to be looking at what is the energy of this particular new moon. We're going to look at how to work with this energy of this lunar cycle. We're going to look at what area of life should we be focusing on and all sorts of other stuff. Okay, cards are shuffled. I have set the intention. And let me put the 7 cards on the table. Whoopsie, I need to make sure that I am looking at where I am going. Okay, so I'm just going to place them, a bit of a glare there, and then I will do 4 down the bottom here, and that will give us our 7. Good. Putting these out of the way. Where is space? There is space. There is space. All right, so card number 1. This one over here is the Hanged Man. And this is the energy that this new moon is bringing us as a collective. Remember, this is not about you personally. This is about everybody, the whole world over, okay? So not just you guys that are watching now, but the whole world over. So this card over here, what energy is this new moon bringing our collective lives? And it is the card of perspective. The Hanged Man is the card that says to you, don't always take everything at face value. It's the card that says to you, sometimes we have to sacrifice, and sometimes we have to pause, and sometimes we have to look at things in a different way, and sometimes we have to just climb out of our own heads in order to see the truth, in order to see the way forward, in order to see how things are going to be from now on. And that makes total sense, doesn't it? It makes total sense. So the energy that this new moon is bringing us, it's forcing us all to pause. It's forcing us all to be stable and secure and strong and confident, but it's also forcing us to set the intentions, to make the changes, to do the things that we want to, that we need to, that we have to. Then card number 2 that I have, how can we collectively ground ourselves during this lunar cycle? And this is the 7 of Swords. Now, 7 of Swords under traditional tarot interpretations is the card of deception. It's the card of thievery. It's the card of taking advantage. To me, it's the card of telling you if you don't plan properly, you're going to fall. Okay, so this is, again, I mean, I can't make this stuff up. This is why the collective, how can we collectively ground ourselves during this lunar cycle? By strategizing and planning and setting the intentions, because if we don't set the intentions, we're not going to take advantage of the opportunities presented to us, and we're going to look like absolute idiots. So if you set the intentions, if you do the groundwork, if you lay the foundations, you're setting good intentions, you're going to be okay. But if you do not have a plan, if you do not have strategy, you're going to get caught like this gentleman is about to get caught. Right. Card number 3. So what area of life should we focus on building or growing? Because again, Taurus new moon, building and growing. Now, what I love about this, it's the 7 of Cups. We have the 7 of Swords. Now we've got the 7 of Cups. 7 of Cups is the card of choices and options. It's the card that says to you that, you know what, there are so many choices. There are so many options that it might even feel a little bit overwhelming. So what area of life should we focus on building or growing? All of them. That is my quick and easy answer. All of them. Okay. It's like, yes, we need to be focused on one thing. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin. We don't want to dilute ourselves, as I mentioned earlier on. But at the same time, we need to make sure that we are taking full advantage of the situation, taking full advantage of this new moon. So when you look at your life, and like we did, as we said, okay, pick an area of life that you want to set an intention. I can almost guarantee that 99% of you chose an area of life that would be easy, simple to accomplish, but also one that would probably help other people in your life as opposed to helping you. And I do think that the 7 of Cups is saying we need to be more honest with ourselves around what is it that we need, want, and desire, and not what our family, what our friends, what our circumstances need, want. Like, we've got to become a little bit more selfish. Okay, we've got to be focusing a little bit more on ourselves and not on everybody else around you. So what area of life should we focus on building or growing? You've got a lot of choices, you've got a lot of options, but the answer is to choose the one that suits you. Choose the one that aligns with your personal values, with your belief systems, with what you need, want, and desire, which will in turn lead you to providing for your family and for everybody else that's important. But it's like, shift that focus, shift that perspective back to you. Okay. Card number 4 down the bottom here. What do we need to release in order to embrace Taurus's steady energy? So what do we as a collective need to release in order to embrace Taurus's stable, secure energy? And it is this whole thing of hope and renewal. Okay, so we need to release control. We need to release power. We need to release this need for action. We need to sometimes just settle into a thing and just allow ourselves to progress and allow ourselves to be, to just stay in this moment, right? To just stay in this moment, to be mindful, to be reflective, but to also realize that, you know what, we've been through so much. We're all discombobulated. We're all feeling scattered. We're all over the place. So we need to replenish ourselves, okay? So what do we need to release? Control and power and action. We need to actually say, you know what, I'm just going to ease into this. So again, the intentions that we're setting, they mustn't be huge, big, major things. They need to be soft, gentle, and important. Next card, card number 5. So how can we collectively connect with abundance and gratitude? Now, this is so interesting because this is a yucky, yucky, yucky card. Okay, the Eight of Swords. Nobody wants to see the Eight of Swords in a tarot spread, or in a tarot reading, I should say. Nobody wants to see the Eight of Swords because the Eight of Swords is the card of restriction. It's the card of limitations. It's the card of narrow-mindedness. It's the card of, I can't see the wood for the trees. It's the card of, oh, woe is me. You know, it's really a card of doom and gloom. The person feels doom and gloom. The reality is nowhere close to that. But the feeling that they have is doom and gloom because they feel as if the walls are closing in around them. So how can we collectively connect with abundance and gratitude? By taking the blindfold off, by being honest with ourselves, being truthful with ourselves, by being real with ourselves, and not living in this fantasy land of, oh, my life is so hard and my life is so terrible and I will never have money and I will never have good health and I will never have a nice car and I will never have a nice house. We need to drop the limiting beliefs that we have on ourselves. So how can we collectively connect with abundance? By stop being so judgmental and hard and critical and nasty to ourselves. All right. Card number 6. What message does the earth, as in Taurus's element, have for us? And here we have teamwork. This is the Three of Pentacles, the card of teamwork, the card of collaboration, the card of understanding that each one of us, even though we are so different, and even though we have such a different purpose, and even though we do things so differently, we all contribute to the bigger picture. And if we can just learn to work together as a unit, if we can learn to actually collaborate and to lean on each other's strengths and not just focus on our weaknesses, you know, can you imagine how fabulous this world would be? Can you imagine how wonderful? You know, but at the moment, we're all just struggling and focusing on the hardships and focusing on the challenges and comparing ourselves to other people and feeling so useless amongst that. You know, we compare ourselves to other people and we feel like we'll never do that, we'll never achieve that, we'll never accomplish that. But the truth of the matter is we can, if we set the intentions to accept each other for who we are, lean on each other's strengths and not just focus on, oh, well, you can't do that and you can't do that and you can't do that. Rather focus on what people can do. So if we can focus on kindness, if we can focus on love, if we can focus on abundance, if we can change the way we view things, then honestly, we can do so well. We can really and truly accomplish so much if we can learn to collaborate and work together and not be so anti and so negative and so judgmental and so harsh. And finally, our 7th card. What will this new moon manifest for our collective future? So what can we all look forward to? And then we have the Queen of Cups. So Queen of Cups to me is just so fitting because Cups is the energy of emotion, it's love, it's connection. Queen is nurturing. She is a little bit manipulative, but she nurtures. She takes care of the community. And this is basically saying that if we can learn to work together, if we can learn to take our blindfold off and not to see everything in a negative sense, but see things in a positive light, then honestly, we'll come together. It's almost like this new moon in Taurus is going to bring us all together, is going to band us together, hold us together and love us unconditionally. And if we are all loved and supported unconditionally in the way that we need, in the way that we want, and if we're all able to manifest all the things that we want, need, and desire in our lives, why would we be negative? Why would we have a negative outlook? Why would we be so angry at the world? We wouldn't be. So what is this new moon going to manifest for our collective future? Unconditional love, support, and the necessary energies of giving you the resources that you need at the time that you need them. So I know I rushed that reading quite a lot. I mean, I could have spoken for much longer on that. Oopsie, pushing all the wrong buttons. I do apologize. It'll go away in a second. I do apologize. They're pushing all the wrong buttons. So I just didn't want to keep you guys longer than usual. I'm trying to stick it to a 1 hour. But that tarot reading really just reinforces how important this new moon is in Taurus, and how if we use these energies to our advantage, we can change the world by changing ourselves. Don't ever feel like you shouldn't set intentions for yourself because you don't deserve it, or you need to think of others before you think of yourselves. I call BS on that. I call absolute BS on that. It's important that we change the narrative to start saying, I'm going to focus on me first. And once I've got me sorted out, then I will sort out everybody else, because my family won't be okay if I'm not okay. All right. My family won't be okay if I'm not okay. So we need to start manifesting and setting the intentions for ourselves so that our families can succeed, achieve, accomplish, so that our communities can succeed, achieve, and accomplish. So I hope that this helps you. I do hope that you all pop over to psychicacademy.co.za and go and purchase that intention setting worksheet. It will change your life. It will. I honestly and truly believe that. So friends, thank you for being with me tonight. Thank you for your love and support. Earthstar says this has been such a breath of fresh air. Thank you. You are so welcome, my darling. Lee says beautiful. Thank you, Renee. Beautiful to you too, my darling. Denise says, wow, thank you so much, Renee. Fantastic session. Thank you all for being here. I really do so value and appreciate absolutely every single one of you. But as always, I have to give an extra special thank you to my YouTube channel members. Your continuous support of the work that I do, your love and your support, really and truly you're the reason I keep coming back. You are the reason why I will continue to make content. You are the reason why it makes me so happy to be here day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. So thank you to all of you for your absolute love and support. And to the rest of you, you're just as important, and I love you too, everybody else. But those channel members who contribute to my work on a financial level, I mean, I'm so in awe and so grateful. So thank you, everybody. Sasha says that enjoyed setting intentions. Beautiful reading. Thank you, Renee. And have a great rest of your evening. Yes, to you too. Sarah, you are so welcome. Carissa, hello. Paula, hello. You are also welcome. I'm sending you all so much love and so many blessings. And I will see you Tuesday morning for a daily tarot reading again. I won't be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be sleeping.